It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hey everybody, and thank you for joining us. We're here at Vito's Coal Fire Pizza and Restaurant. No, it's not a Vito show, but it's a Mayor's Report show. Mayor Dave Clews just finished speaking to Rotary, and we're going to talk to him here at one of my favorite restaurants. And once again, I want to thank the various people that sponsor this show. Of course, you know we're media sponsors with Republican Herald, and their Reader's Choice Award is going on right now. So go to their website. Please nominate the best, person that you think is would be the best for the Reader's Choice. And also I want to thank Bob Weaver Chevrolet, who's always been a strong supporter of local television programming here in Pottsville area. 12-Volt Dave, Carmela's Roma Delight, and of course Attorney Christine Holman, Vito's Coal Fire Pizza and Restaurant, and Schuylkill Explorer. These are people and many more that participate in our shows. As I said, the mayor, you spoke to Rotary today, right?
Yes.
And I noticed when I came in, everyone was asleep. I mean, you put them all asleep. It's amazing how we can do that, my friends. No, it's what was the topic of your conversation?
Well, we were talking about the challenges of the first year of being a mayor in the city of Pottsville.
We talked about, before we get into the subject matter today, we talked about that a couple times about, when you ran for mayor, you saw different areas that you wanted to go in and work on. And, and we said sometimes when you see things from the outside, because you're a city councilman, so not necessarily outside, you wanted to bring certain things, and you had these challenges. So just what were some of the challenges that you faced and you were able to accomplish?
Well, one of the challenges first was bringing a business attitude in the city hall as opposed to a government attitude. I look at things a little more black and white sometimes and by the numbers, and from a customer service perspective as opposed to just being an employee in the city or, working for a particular party or things of that nature. Looking at my hometown and what I've seen as things that we need to take care of and things we need to keep being progressive about.
Dave, I sat as a chairman of the board of trustees for many years, and I know that sometimes you look at things from a different perspective where people don't have the total picture of what's going on. Well, you had a benefit of being a city councilman, so you knew some of those things, okay? But your vision for Pottsville has always been there, and we talked about how the city of Pottsville extends not only for Pottsville, but you have people calling in from different areas, right? And saying,
oh yeah.
And what are some of the things they ask you about?
Well, I've gotten calls from other communities. Asking me about what we do for, blighted properties. I have other communities that we've talked to, and we share fire service with like Mechanicsville and Mount Carbon. I've talked to other communities that, because we have a full-time police force that, are interested or would have the idea that, they'd possibly like to contract service with us for that. So it's been kind of interesting, talking to people outside the city, and sometimes it's just a sheer case of where they're not sure where the city line ends and where their township begins.
Yeah. Do you find that the needs that Pottsville has versus the needs, let's say, of Tamaqua or Monterey City or Frackville or the different areas, which are all great areas, you find that their needs are different or similar to what Pottsville faces?
I think they're pretty similar, that they face the same challenges that Pottsville does, budget issues, street issues, blighted homes. We just deal with it on a grander scale. I mean, strictly by number and population, 56 miles of streets in the city of Pottsville. Smaller community isn't going to have that to deal with. Unfortunately, most of our adjoining communities have gone to a part-time or no police force at all. So there are some things that we do here that others don't. I think we're fortunate in Schuylkill County. We have some great volunteer firemen associations and groups in all our local communities. And even those guys all work together from township and cities, sharing resources, sharing specially developed teams. Again, just by number, Pottsville's bigger and have more resources in some cases or more experience.
When you're looking at a challenge and you're looking at a particular need for the city that requires a lot of money, then you have to go and see if there's any governmental grants available and whichever can help the taxpayers, okay? How have you been in that area?
I think we've made a lot of progress in that area. We used to rely on a lot of outside sources to keep us informed and in some cases, fill out those forms. We've started to do some more of that in-house instead of having to rely on somebody else making those applications and finding them and keeping connected enough with all our state and federal representatives to know when there's money out there that we might be able to apply for and hopefully.
Have you been successful in some of those areas?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We have.
And dealing with our local political people, like our legislators and state senators, have been very cooperative with you.
Oh, exceptionally cooperative. They've all, we've been very fortunate in Pottsville lately. We've had some really multi-million-dollar projects come to town. Alvernia, making Pottsville college town. We've got an investment group doing 60 units on, second floor and above market rate apartments. And, again, thanks to funds found by those representatives. We've been pretty fortunate that way that they've worked with us, they've worked with me, they're used to seeing me at events. And I'm not shy about telling them I'm reaching in their pocket anytime I find the opportunity.
When you said when you became mayor, folks, we talked about being transparent. A lot of politicians talk about being transparent, and to me, half of them is a lot of bull. They tell you what you want to hear. This guy says he's transparent, and he's transparent, okay? And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that, but the point is I've been around a long time. I've seen these politicians come on and tell you a lot of nonsense, and the people, believe this stuff, and then they never get what they promised anyway. In your case, and a lot of other cases that I've interviewed, at least you come up and you say, look, this is what I'm all about, this is where we're at, and you're open to any kind of constructive criticism, correct?
Oh yeah, I don't expect to make everybody happy. It's the one thing I've learned, as much as you want to, be able to say yes and have the solutions, it's just not always possible. And especially now, when you put the government element into it, where most people want an immediate satisfaction and response. Well, that's really not how this works, unfortunately. And I've become used to having to deliver that message. I say, don't shoot the messenger. We all want to get to the right point here. Sometimes a little more challenging than people outside know how the process works in-house.
It's amazing how much you can accomplish when people work together and people work to agree to disagree only on the subject matter, not on a political matter, because you have people yet who are staunch Republicans and staunch Democrats, and the politics blends in there and it destroys what you need to accomplish, okay? And I think you've been able to separate that, do your job, and you work with the Democrats and Republicans, etc. And I applaud you for that, Dave. It's a difficult task sometimes.
Oh, it sure is challenging. I've said it from day one. I'm a registered Republican, but I'm more of a this is my hometown and I'm a businessman guy than, I hate and it happens. Because that's government. When the R&D get into it, it usually just slows the process down. Because I think even here, we have a good team in Pottsville, and I believe all my council people and everybody in City Hall almost all of them live here in the city. So it behooves them to want to do their job well because it's their hometown.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And I think all the councilmen and women as a group are in it for the betterment of their hometowns too. Sometimes we pick our sides, but ultimately, we get the things done.
Talking about getting things done, some of the current events that are happening in the city are what?
Well, we've got a major St. Patty's Day returning in town. The Business Association has really taken that by the shillelagh, I guess we could say. And
Watch your mouth, okay?
Yeah. It's a family show.
Yeah, that's right.
Have a bunch of bands coming and floats, and bringing that event back. We're coming into our summer, and of course all our rec programs from getting the pool ready. We're just talking about having to get our pool painted, one of the biggest pools in the county, to get ready for the summer there. Of course, we have our city Easter egg hunt coming up. One of the things about our pool that I don't think too many people know is that we have an adaptive swim program. Special needs children who've never had the opportunity to get into a pool. We have a private time during the morning at the JFK pool here in Pottsville that those children and those adults who need assistance, getting into a pool are brought in and left to enjoy that. So again, kind of one of the special secrets that we do here in Pottsville and not too many know about.
That's great. I'd like to do a show when you guys are ready to do something. I'd like to be on location. Many years ago, I did one there at the pool. I'd like to do that. I'm talking to Mayor Clews. This is the mayor's report. Incidentally, my friends, some people ask me, well, the other communities that watch our shows, if you have a mayor or someone who's interested in doing a show with me, my email is sam@ssptv.com. Please let me know. I'll be more than happy to contact them or have them contact me. We're talking to Mayor Clews. This is the monthly mayor's report. When we come back, we'll be talking to Sonny Fenstermacher. Sonny has been a friend of mine for many, many, many years and does a lot of great things in the greater Pottsville area. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. The Mayor's Report. Remember, ssptv.com. All of our shows are there on our YouTube channel and also Rumble. You can get some of our programs on that media as well. We're here at Vito's Coal Fire Pizza and Restaurant doing the Mayor's Report. Sonny Fenstermacher is my guest today. Sonny, we go back a long, long time. And I'm only 55 and you're 53, I think, or 50, whatever. You remember many years ago, when I was with Wolf TV, Fred Finelli, Joe Slitzer, you, and we had an advisory board.
Right.
And at that point, you were always active in doing things for the community. And it was and first of all, meeting all you people was nice, and you were always so gracious to me, as well as what we're doing. Then we started our local TV shows. So what are you doing now?
Well, staying busy, you and I just talked about that. Staying active mostly in real estate. I have a partner, Felix Bartush, and I have units in Pine Brook. So we manage all the rental units that we have there. Plus my brother and I still have some commercial and residential things here. Staying busy just in the summertime playing golf, and the wintertime playing tennis, and
at least you're active.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Now, you had Haddisty's, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're the vice president of Rotary. Very quickly, I know I'm speaking to Rotary here April 26th, I think. I'm honored to do that. Tell me about Rotary.
Well, Rotary's been around for a long, long time. And I think the single biggest thing that Rotary's done is made a worldwide effort to eradicate polio. And we have the tens of thousands of Rotary clubs that are in the world today have all contributed to that. And it's been billions of dollars that Rotary has generated and then spent to eradicate polio. And that's been our single biggest objective.
It's amazing how the clubs that many people don't know specifically what clubs do, and Rotary has always been a pretty active thing. So you've been very active with Rotary, very active in the community. It's always nice to see you.
Yep, it's good to be here. And I go back with you a long, long time.
We had
You've
a
been
lot of
great.
These people like this, my friends, have been people who have been supportive, like Dave Clews and Jerry Enders, a lot of people who have been supportive of a lot of things that are good for our community, and I applaud you for that, and your brother too.
That's great, thank you.
They had Haddisty's. Well, the Haddisty's is still going.
Yeah,
strong.
still good. Yeah, my nephew runs it now. Yep. And,
does a good job with it
he
too.
He does a good job. Yeah, they're a very busy place out there.
Good,
Yep.
good.
Yep.
We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. And once again, thank you for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. This comes from the scientific poll that was conducted by Susquehanna Polls and Research. They were rated the #1 polling company in the United States by Real Clear Politics. I appreciate that very much, as well as all of our other local programs that are #1 in their time slots. I'm here talking to Mayor Dave Clews, and we're at Vito's Coal Fire Pizza and Restaurant, who happens to be a sponsor of these shows, along with Bob Weaver, 12 Vote Dave's, Carmelo's Roman Delight, Attorney Kristen Holman, Explorer Schuylkill, and many more who are participating in helping promoting local television programming. Mayor, talking about what's happening in the city, let's talk about our fire department.
Boy, always proud to talk about the Pottsville Fire Department. Being a member since I'm 21, and having it as my first assignment when I was on council. We're very fortunate. Chief Mustician, who's born and raised here, is a very progressive fire chief. Our department ran 854 calls last year. 854 calls, all volunteer service. Couldn't be prouder. We took on Mount Carbon as far as providing fire protection, and also in the past year I entered into a contract with Mechanicsville to also provide fire protection there. So busy department. Jimmy does a great job. Couldn't be prouder.
I had him on the show a couple times, and really they all work so well, and they ought to be applauded for that. It's amazing, my friends, when they get a call and they're volunteers, and you never know what's going to happen. Some of them unfortunately have hit their demise of trying to help people out, throughout the years, and so we think sometimes that it's just going out, putting fires out or whatever the case may be, but these people are to be really applauded, certainly. Because you've seen it so many years.
A long time.
The police department, how are we doing?
Chief Morrow, my new chief, is doing great.
I understand he's signing a lot of autographs since he's been on my show.
Oh yeah, he's famous. And then they let him know it around City Hall too.
He's good. He's a good man.
He's been great. We have 2 new officers we put on recently. Of course, we just had one retire in the past couple of days. And we are advertising and looking for applicants for our police department. Just ordered a new cruiser. Have to keep the fleet up because they get a lot of miles during the course of their lives, and got to have something they can trust when they're out there on the road. Bicycle patrols will be hitting the street very shortly again. Always like to see that. Nothing like the in-person interaction with the community.
I think that's great. So they're there and you see them. Streets department. That's always
never ending. That's it. Yeah.
Only in the back of his head.
Yeah. Our streets department. We just spoke yesterday morning. Organizing, because again, temperatures are starting to come up. Time to start getting the paving projects going out there. continuing the ones that last year we ran out of budget for, and then going to work on this year's list of streets that we want to get to and accomplish. Just ordered a new street sweeper. Ours was several years old, and just like any other car or truck, they start to nickel and dime you. And we were fortunate to be able to work that into this year's budget. They keep the downtown clean, and then leaf pickup and everything residentially throughout the year. It logs a lot of miles. So adding that, Tommy and the guys out in the garage. Some people say, well, I don't see him out anywhere, but so many vehicles has to be maintained. Yep. A lot of things they paint and take care of before it goes out. Some things in playgrounds fall under the streets department to help out with. So those guys are busy.
What do you think your biggest challenge is? I know you have a lot of things on the plate, but what do you think this year, 2023, will be the biggest challenge for Pottsville?
Boy, on one optimistic side, I could say finding retail space. I've done so many ribbon cuttings this past year for new businesses coming to town, and I just actually spoke to another business owner, has 3 or 4 locations, wants to come to Pottsville, and his question was, where can I put a store? And I honestly had to sit back and think, how many storefronts we have available right in the main downtown district, and there's really not a lot. And terrible problem to have that you don't have enough space for retailers that want to come here. But that's a huge challenge for the year. The street projects are always something that always want to do more than you can fit into the budget. Hoping that our petroleum fuel cost and associated products level out some more this year, that maybe we can get a few more miles of streets done. So those are probably the biggest things for me.
In terms of retail stores, I had, my partner and I, Johnny Morato, had many retail stores, mostly in malls, and we had maybe 1 or 2 in the cities. And parking was always a concern, being shopper friendly. These are areas that are really troublesome sometimes as to how do you address them without chaos. Do you have any type of solution? I know it's a difficult task, but what are you doing in that respect?
The biggest thing is trying to educate our merchants to understand that parking's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever really going to have, I think, an absolute great solution. Because if it was free, then it wouldn't be able to park close enough to the businesses. There's always something when it comes to the P word, parking, that tends to have a negative light to itself. And I think if our merchants learn to, I won't say embrace it, because I'm a merchant that has his own parking lot, but I think they got to understand it, and I hate to say make the best of it, but if you're taking a woe is me attitude because your customers are woe is me, I got a ticket, first of all, you probably haven't been in too many towns, because I don't know too many of them that have free parking. And the other is that part of it's delivery. It's like anything else. If you've got a positive delivery on the situation, and let your customer know you're trying to do everything you can. Tell them about the 4 ways. Give them a quarter. It's a quarter. It's an approach. Yes.
What we try to do, I don't know if you have it in the city of Pottsville. We actually purchased 4 or 5 meters. We're able to buy them for only our customers. Okay. Do you have that available in Pottsville?
Not really. I mean, I know there are certain businesses that do rent spaces in lots, but it's more for their employees than it is for their customers. I think one of the challenges in Pottsville is right now is that we have a mix of areas, some with coin meters, some without, some half and half. And if you're not from Pottsville, that can be a little confusing. To pull in and go, oh, I'll take this space, there's not a meter here because the three ahead of me have meters on them. Yeah. Not realizing that they're covered under the parking app. So I think there's things we can work on that way.
Some suggestions, sometimes you have a person that goes in, puts a quarter or whatever in the meter, and it happens that what they're in a little bit longer than what expected, and for some reason you think they're just zeroing in at a meter, but they come out. Sometimes you may want to give warnings, versus a ticket. And a warning would be, if it's a 15-minute or a warning, you come out, they know you already put money in there, but instead of wrapping them, for that extra amount of dollars, you have that?
Yeah, I think, I think our code enforcement people need to, and a lot of times they do, when, they come up to a store and they realize that Toyota's been there for longer than should be, meters expired, whatever. A lot of times they try and go into the business and ask, is the owner of this Toyota out here? Your meter's expired. Maybe not as much as most people would like, or in some cases, I'll even say that I would like, because I think you need parking enforcement, but it has to be more like parking management.
I think that parking management would be the area I would look at. I have a lot of suggestions for you, being in the retail business for many, many years. Folks, we do a mayor's report every month, and once again, for those of you in different municipalities that like to have a report, just give me a call or email me at sam@ssptv.com. It's interesting to know that what's happening in your city, and since we'll be starting this show, Mayor's Report here in Pottsville, a lot of great things have happened. Remember people who are supporting us, and we appreciate that. Now, the Republican Herald, who is our media sponsors, currently going on with the Reader's Choice Awards, and they're running up until March. Go to their website, a lot of great things. You can help a lot of people out. And we want to thank people like Bob Weaver Chevrolet, Carmelo's Roman Delight, Carmen's or Vito's Coal Fire Pizza and Restaurant. We're here today interviewing the mayor, Attorney Christine Holman, Explorer Schuylkill. These are people that are participating in bringing information to you, along with other ones that you see on our program. We'll see you next time.